on, guys? I'm Cameron from The Breakdown. I'm here with my two favorite co-hosts, Alex Goodlakis and Payne Surratt. Today we'll be going over our terrific 10, which are our top 10 NFL teams coming into this upcoming NFL season. Starting off with honorable mention, the Green Bay Packers.
Disrespectful.
Green Bay Packers. Thoughts on the Green Bay Packers?
It's just a disrespectful
You should be
rating
hired.
by my fellow co-host. But I think the Packers are going to have a really successful year. And I think that everyone's doubting Aaron Rodgers, who's probably the best quarterback in the NFL.
Oh my god.
And I think that they're just being completely underrated this year. They have one of the best defenses in football.
Thank you, Peyton.
The Green Bay Packers are not a good football team. I'll stay on that hill till the day I die. They lost MVS. They lost Devontae Adams. Their best wide receivers, who? I don't even know who it is.
The dude.
The Dubes dude. I don't know who that is, bro.
Romeo and Juliet guy?
Don't get me wrong, I love AJ Dillon. He's on my fantasy team. That's why I always don't like him. Got big ass quads. Big guy. You know, Aaron Jones is solid. But the rest of that team is a bunch of nobodies. Jair Alexander is washed. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, I
Jair Alexander's like, they have a good defense,
I think,
but I think the Packers are not gonna. They're gonna be a wild card team, but I don't see them.
I agree.
Good
I
in
think
the playoffs.
I think the Packers are a
Pretty sure.
wild card team. I think they did regress, and unfortunately, their division rival, the Vikings, did really get.
Took
They
their best
took
defensive
another
player from there.
step. They took another step.
They took the best defensive player.
They
from
did.
them.
The
Seriously.
Packers' most productive defensive players are Darius Smith. You know, he kind of jumped right to the Vikings, who I think lead us into our 10th best team.
Minnesota Vikings. We absolutely love the Minnesota Vikings over here.
We
Alex hates
Absolutely
him.
love.
I don't like him.
I think Kevin O'Connell, the coach of the year, that is, along with one of the best wide receiving cores in the league, along with one of the best running backs in the league, I think this team takes.
And probably a
step
top
forward.
a top 20 running back right behind him now too.
I agree. Can we move on? No, we're done talking about the Vikings. Number 9, we got the Broncos. They added Russell Wilson in the offseason, probably one of the biggest moves of the offseason. Completely changed the landscape of the franchise, signed him to a big extension. I mean, this is a really good roster up and down. They have great skill position players on offense. They had a really solid defense last year.
solid
so
secondary.
just I think a very solid team.
Solid
It's a very solid team in general.
Extend Sutton 4 years, $64 million
Yeah.
over the offseason.
I think Sutton's in for a humongous year. I would not be surprised if he eclipses 1,500 yards,
Probably a top 10
double-digit
defense.
touchdowns. I think the Broncos are in a great situation moving forward. For the rest of
in
the,
a tough division though.
that is true, which is why we have them at 9. If they're in any other division, they'd probably be a top 16.
I agree 100%.
Moving on to our 8th spot, we have
The Baltimore Ravens.
Big
Big trust. Woo. Last year was a down year for them, mainly because of
Injuries.
injuries. But Lamar comes back. It's
Something to prove.
something to prove. It's his contract year. He thinks he deserves to be paid like one of those top dogs. And I agree.
I saw one of the best takes of all time. It was like the Cleveland Browns outsmarted the Ravens by giving Deshaun Watson $230 million guaranteed. So the Ravens have to guarantee money to Lamar Jackson.
That's
as
one of the
well.
dumbest things I've ever heard.
It was known-
because Deshaun Watson's a top 3 quarterback in the league when healthy, so he deserves the money. Or not when healthy, but when post-rape allegations.
Anyways, the Ravens, I think we'll see them as a wildcard team this year. Might win that division. You never know. Harbaugh's a really good coach. I love Lamar. I mean, the defense is.
Well, speaking of good coaches, moving on to the number 7 spot, we have the San Francisco 49ers, who have probably the best coach in the NFL. One of the best coaches in Kyle Shanahan. Trey Lance at quarterback, weapons on offense for days, a great offensive scheme, and a really solid defense. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. I mean, I think we all really high on the Niners this year. Ton of expectations for them.
Right.
I think that's the X factor this year. I think Ayuk's the X factor this year. I think they'll use him a lot more. As not in the Debo role, but obviously I think they'll target him a lot more downfield. I think they'll try to get him in space a lot more than usual, or than last year.
So moving on to our 6th team, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, led by quarterback Joe Shiesty.
And Jamar Chizzy.
Upgraded O-line. They're going to move at a much higher pace this year. They're going to have more protection for Burrow. Makes sense. So I think the offense is going to take a step up because I don't think it was the best offense in the playoffs last year. And then their defense was pretty solid. So, I mean, overall, really good team. And since you're probably going to, I have them winning the division. So.
What do you, I have one question for this team. What do you think holds them back from being a top 5 teams like the Chiefs or the Bucks?
Now, this might sound a little harsh, but I'm looking at the teams ahead of them, and they either have a better defense or a better quarterback.
I was gonna say that. I
I'm
think it's
not
quarterback.
completely sold on. I mean, Burrow's he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I don't think he's elite though.
I agree.
I don't think he's
Totally
elite.
agree. And that's what separates them from our number 5 team, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
You could argue the Bengals have a better roster, but the
Patrick Mahomes makes up for everything.
exactly, 100% agree with that.
I mean, I could put the Chiefs at number 3, and I wouldn't see a difference because I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL.
I agree.
Personally, I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL.
Mhm.
He's the best game changer, along with Kelsey. I know Tyreek Hill left, but along with Kelsey, that offense would not take a step down.
Right. I mean, they still have really good weapons all around. I think Juju's gonna take a huge jump from his
Sky
injury
Moore's
year last
solid,
year.
Marquez
Sky Moore,
Valdes-Scantling.
Marcus Vazquez,
Slept on
Isaiah
receiving.
Pacheco.
Slept on receiving core for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And then our number 4 team is the Buccaneers, who I think, they obviously have Tom Brady. They have a great receiving core. They added Russell Gage this offseason, added Julio.
Rashad White.
Rashad White drafted him. And then, I mean, it's a really solid defense. It's always a great run defense. The secondary is where they kind of
Right.
run into their issues, but their run defense is always one of the best
I
in
think
the league.
Devin White, Levante David hold that front 7
Vita
down.
Vea,
I think the only team.
That's great front 7.
I think the only problem holding this team
Is the
back is
offensive line?
the offensive
Yeah.
line. Mainly, actually, only because of injuries.
Yeah.
But you can't count out any team that has Tom Brady at quarterback. So if you told me this team was in the Super Bowl, I'd be okay. Yeah, I see that happening because they got Brady. But if you told me they were a 2nd-round exit or a 1st-round exit, I'm
It's very
not sure if
possible.
they have the offensive line to compete into the playoffs.
Yep.
So
Tag down with that. And then speaking of offensive line downgrades, we have the Los Angeles Rams losing Andrew Whitworth, 40 years old, retiring after winning the Super Bowl. But this offense is great. Adding Allen Robinson,
Healthy Cam Akers is coming back as
healthy
well.
Cam Akers.
And then they have their defense. I mean, Aaron Donald,
Cooper Kupp,
Jalen Ramsey, the star power is just there. I mean,
top tier head coach McVay.
McVay, yeah. I mean, you know what they're gonna do. They're gonna do some great things over there. That's
Yeah.
Super Bowl Cowboys. I think, in my opinion, our teams from the top 5 down, I think all of them are Super Bowl caliber.
I think you could arguably say you could look at the Rams, put them 1, and I don't think you have a problem with that.
I agree with that 100%. But I do think our team, our other LA team in front of them, the Chargers, are a better team this year. I think they have a better quarterback. They add Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson. They extend Derwin James. I mean,
Joey Bosa's a force to be reckoned with.
he was already. They improved their linebacking core a little bit. I mean, their offense was already one of the best in the league, and they made their defense that much better, which is their huge flaw. So I mean, I think the only thing holding them back, we talked about it, is maybe Herbert's protection with the offensive line, which it's not horrible, but there is some weak
Right.
spots. So I think that's the only thing that could really hold them
Yeah,
back.
Slater's going into his 2nd year. I think he's bound to progress.
Yeah.
So that's definitely going to be, I guess, better.
And
But
I'm
I
not
just
Mike
don't
Williams.
think this team will be able. I mean, they will compete, but I don't think they're on the tier of our number 1 team.
Well, I agree because I think they're just our number 1 team is just better. And that team
100%
is the
agree.
Buffalo Bills.
I think the Bills
Me and Cam,
are
Super Bowl winners.
without a doubt the best team in the league.
I agree. I mean, you take that team last year who was this close to beating the Chiefs. You know, it was a
Right.
crazy game. You add Von Miller, who's arguably one of the best pass rushers in the league. You add Von Miller. I mean, Josh Allen gets better. They add James Cook, who's going to be jumping in a running back role right away. That was one of their biggest issues. Gabriel Davis looking to take a step up.
Right.
You add Jamison Crowder, who's a sneaky slot receiver, and
You have your
Trey
touchdown.
White is coming back. I mean, just everything about this team just
Right.
screams Super Bowl, and that's why they're our number 1.
I 100% agree with everything Alex said. I think Josh Allen is a top 3 quarterback in the league, top 3 quarterback in the league, and I think this is their year. You saw Diggs posing at the Chiefs ceremony. 2 years ago. Didn't have quite a game last year, but this is their year. They match up with the Chiefs.
I love it.
Third time's a charm.
Do you got something to say?
I'm disappointed. Disappointed. All this sheep talk. All this
no.
sheep talk. All this sheep talk.
Hey, you don't always have to be different, bro. It's
Char-
okay to say the Bills are the best team in the league.
The Los Angeles Chargers are the best team in the NFL.
All right, we're gonna hold you to that.
We're gonna wrap it up there.
That's gonna wrap it up. Thanks for listening to our top 10 teams, our terrific 10 actually.
Terrific 10.
We're gonna be doing these. Try to do these weekly to keep you all updated on who we think is going up, who we think is going down, and
Chargers will be going up after week 1. Don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it. Chargers
I
are going
think once the Bills beat the Rams pretty
That's
handily
gonna-
week 1.
that's gonna do it. Peace.